Before the end of the week, Governor Greg Abbott is expected to sign a new immigration enforcement bill into law.
We're talking about Senate Bill 4, which makes it a state crime to illegally enter the United States. The bill will draw immediate legal challenges.
On KPRC 2 News at 5, KPRC 2 investigator Robert Arnold gave us a breakdown of this bill, and he joins us again to explain why legislators filed the measure, knowing it would be challenged in court. Robert.
Well, in short, lawmakers passed the measure as another rebuke of what they see as a failure on President Joe Biden's part to secure our southern border. There are some big question marks, though, as to what impact this bill will have on the state. Nonetheless, conservative lawmakers want to challenge whether a state has the right to enact and enforce immigration laws.
This is a recognition of the obvious that the federal government has walked away from their responsibilities on the border.
State Senator Paul Bettencourt is a co-author of Senate Bill 4. He says he and his colleagues know the bill will be challenged in court.
When you've got 10,000 crossings a day, something has to give here. And the fact of the matter is the federal government is refusing to take their responsibility seriously.
The bill would make entering the U.S. illegally a state crime and would allow state judges to order an immigrant to be sent back to a foreign country.
The argument will be that this law infringes upon federal immigration law. As a general matter, if a state law conflicts with a federal law, the state law is unconstitutional.
Josh Blackman is a constitutional law professor. He says Texas lawmakers know the U.S. Supreme Court already knocked down a similar law in Arizona in 2012, but that case did not fully settle this legal argument.
So it's possible the court may come out differently today than they did a decade ago. Also, we have a lot of experience with what immigration law looks like today versus 10 years ago, and maybe people might see it a little bit differently.
I think it's got to be more of a political statement to satisfy the base that they're doing something about this problem.
Veteran immigration attorney Charles Foster says Texas's law raises several questions. Will court dockets be able to handle thousands of new cases, and how much will it cost taxpayers to provide defense attorneys for all those charged under a new law?
But you have to ask yourself, do they really want to implement that? Because the Texas economy, for one, depends a great deal on immigrant labor.
And these uncertainties are translating to confusion and fear in the immigrant community.
And I don't think anybody knows what it's going to be. I think we see what we see in paper, but then in action is what is it really going to be, or what's it going to be like? So I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now.
Mexico's government has already come out against this bill and says it does have the right to reject anyone Texas orders to return to the country. Now, a defense to prosecution under this bill is if a person has already been processed by federal officers and been allowed to remain in the United States while their case is pending on the federal level. Lawmakers say this measure will not be enforced at schools, places of worship, or health care facilities. Live in the newsroom, Robert Arnold, KPRC 2 News.